All right, everybody.
Everybody in the club getting tips.
Yeah.
Everybody in the club getting. You heard that song, Joe?
Yeah. Welcome back to Can You Not? We are back in the living room, the three of us, and today's topic is, Amber, would you care to say?
I don't remember. I only remember my topic.
Oh, shit.
I'm the worst. Would you please help?
It's misconceptions, I believe is how you phrased it.
Oh, yeah. I know what my topic is.
Okay, good.
No, I want to. You said it wrong. Hold on. I gotta figure it out. I
You
think
said
you said it wrong.
misconceptions
Or maybe
and something.
Misperception?
What is that?
Lost connections.
Hold on. I'm gonna
That was
find it.
Jesse, by the way.
Hey,
Audience-
Jesse.
Audience member.
Yeah, he's the studio audience. He's
Oh, we
fill
have
in
a
laugh
live
track.
studio audience. That's
Yeah,
wild.
of
And
one.
obviously a spit take too with his giant jug of
He's
water.
got a jug of water that's like bigger than his head right
It
now.
literally is bigger than his head. Quite literally.
Okay, yeah, it's misconceptions and bad assumptions. Bad assumptions is more along the line of mine, so I think
Okay.
that's.
Mine's more of a misconception.
Oh, okay.
Mine is too. I feel we have the same one.
Oh no. I actually found this topic
Oh,
on the Snapchat story
Never mind.
that I was flickering through earlier, and it was facts that will facts that will mess with your perception of time. And I thought that worked pretty well with the theme of today.
Jesse is killing me.
So here's some interesting facts that will totally with your perception of time. So,
What's that?
number one, Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of Snapchat than to the construction of the Great Pyramid at Giza.
Oh, I've heard these before.
I haven't.
Brian hasn't, so we're gonna educate.
No, I mean, I don't remember. I don't have it memorized, but I recall this.
That's deep.
Yeah, she died a little more than 2,000 years ago in 30 BCE, while the Great Pyramid of Giza was completed around 2560 BCE. So
I feel like, just in terms of that one, we always think like ancient history, all of it's like a big clump
Right, it's
that
just
all
all
happened at
compacted.
once.
It was
And that's
boom.
like, there are a lot of things that happened, like between BC, however far back, and then like the 1400s.
You think future generations will think that like we lived during the time of
Well,
like
during Thomas Edison, yeah.
yeah, and like
The light bulb was invented, and then there was Snapchat.
why didn't you guys know each other? Yeah, I mean, I literally went to school like 15 minutes away from the town where Thomas Edison grew up, so maybe I would have run into him at some point.
My great aunt, I think it was my like great grandmother. My great aunt was Thomas Edison's secretary.
Well, you know, that could be. I mean, if in the future people live longer, like say they live like 150 years average, then they would think back and be like, oh, well then.
They probably think we only live to be like 40 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another misconception, by the way.
I
People
know.
didn't live as young as they think they did back then.
The infant mortality rate was just higher, so the averages go down.
yeah.
Next one, let's see. The Stegosaurus was older to the Tyrannosaurus Rex than the T-Rex is to us. So the T-Rex lived 85 to 65 million years ago, and it became a species about 74 million years after the Stegosaurus had already died out. So the Stegosaurus and T-Rex, they never even coexisted.
Oh, like dinosaurs.
Like they were millions of years apart.
But yeah, like 74 million years apart.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of years.
Did you see that dinosaur tail that they found recently?
Yeah, it was
Where?
in amber.
Oh, yeah, why'd you eat a dinosaur tail?
The
What's wrong
shoulder
with you?
shrunk.
This is why we need to have a video episode. sometime.
Yes.
See
Because of all the
Amber's-
stupid
Amber's
crap I
shoulders.
do. You can see my cool sweater.
And it has feathers, just like they always
And
thought
her
they
cool
did.
hat too.
And a cool hat. Yeah, no, I saw
Um,
that. And they, I think, if I remember it, they found it like by accident.
Yeah.
Like
they
it was
weren't
just a
looking for
guy
it.
like in this like illegal market somewhere.
Like the world market.
I don't.
It says the oldest
That
living person was born closer to the signing of the U.S. Constitution than to today. So the oldest living person is 117 years old and was born in 1899. That's 112 years after the signing of the Constitution in 1787. So they're closer to the Constitution than they are to present day.
Their birthday was.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, America isn't that old.
Yeah. Further proof, the 10th president of the United States has 2 grandchildren who are alive today.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
John Tyler had a son, Lyon Tyler, at age 63. Lyon went on to have children late in his life as well, including Lyon Tyler Jr. and Harrison Tyler, who are alive today and in their 80s.
Cool.
That's very weird.
That would be a cool interview.
Let's do it.
Let's seek them out. That should be our documentary. We should interview the world's oldest people.
Oh my god.
That'd be cool. What's their secret?
I feel like people have done that before.
Shh, not like Brian and Joe will.
Yeah, that's different.
We're gonna travel to India to find.
Yeah,
like a remote
nobody's
village.
ever traveled to India before.
We're gonna go to Mars.
Why?
Wait, Jesse, the audience member has a
I
comment.
feel like I've seen this movie,
Yes.
and it's called Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, with Brian. There you go.
Eat, Pray, Love. Now that would be a documentary. Eat, Pray, Love with Brian and Joe.
Oh god.
Do we have to do all those things with you two? Because I don't want to.
Amber's out.
Oh.
Amber's not holding boom while Brian and I get spiritually rejuvenated while
Jesse's choking. Breathe.
You good?
Breathe.
Here's another fun one. Oxford University is older than the Aztec civilization.
How old was the Aztec civilization?
So Oxford began teaching in some form in the year 1096, and the Aztecs didn't begin civilization until the beginning of the 13th century.
1096.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's an old
Where?
college. You don't know where Oxford is?
No, I know, but like 1096.
Wow, they went through like the plague
Everything.
and shit. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
university.
Wasn't the
The
first
invention-
college in Africa though?
Was it?
but it's just
So
like
that would
a
be before 1096 then.
Because that's where civilization began.
Yes,
So I imagine it probably.
but they say like the first actual university was in Africa.
I believe it.
So then
CSU.
is it still in? Oh.
CSU. Oh.
Don't joke.
Oh god.
Don't pretend.
Don't pretend.
That's the only university I know. This one isn't that stunning, but it's kind of stunning if you think about it more. We made it to the moon only 66 years after the Wright brothers invented human flight.
That
Which
is
pretty.
crazy.
Science happens exponentially fast.
That's
Well, it
crazy.
probably would move pretty quick, like after they figured out how to do it, you know.
And I think
Let's
when we
go
went to
further.
the moon the first time, the computer was about the strength of a pocket calculator.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's
So you mean I
crazy.
can go to the moon with my cell phone?
You sure could. You could go
I
to
don't know if
Mars
that's
with
quite what
yourself.
that means.
You're like, Elon Musk, I have the answer. You just set down your phone. On
I'm
his
gonna
desk.
jump into my phone like they jumped into pictures on Blue's Clues.
Oh my god.
Woolly mammoths were still alive when the Great Pyramid at Giza was built. That's pretty crazy.
Furry elephants.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian is not impressed. Oh, so what? They're just big elephants with fur.
I want a furry elephant. That is-
Betty White is literally older than sliced bread.
What the heck?
Betty White was born in 1922, and
Oh.
sliced bread was invented in 1928.
Did you know that Dr. Heimlich just died? The guy that invented
Yeah.
the Heimlich maneuver?
He
I
saved
didn't know that was a person.
Yeah.
He saved someone's life with his own invention earlier this year for the first time ever. He was at a
At
restaurant.
96.
Yeah, he was at a restaurant and he saved some old lady's life who was choking on like a chicken bone.
And then he
At
could die.
96.
Yeah, he fulfilled his purpose.
At 96, he did it.
Will Smith is now older than James Avery, aka Uncle Phil, when the Fresh Prince of Bel Air started.
That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
That's like the most shocking one you've said.
The Eiffel Tower was inaugurated the same year Nintendo was started.
Nintendo started out as a what was it?
Playing cards.
Playing cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also make, you can still buy shogi boards from them.
Oh, really?
Shogi, yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
It's cool.
Anne Frank, Martin Luther King Jr., and Barbara Walters were all born on the same year.
Wait, what?
Quite a different round of people there.
I only know 2 of them.
Anne Frank.
I never heard of that Anne
MLK.
Frank person.
Oh.
Is she a rapper? I don't know. Like
That new Anne Frank album is fire.
All I know is she
Shout
was
out
a
to
believer.
Joe.
she was a believer. She was a believer.
Oh, I forgot about that. That happened.
What the heck?
If the history of the universe were placed on a calendar year, humans would only exist starting around 11:59 p.m. on December 31st.
Thanks, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Wait, go back. I have to rehear that.
So, if the history of the universe was placed on a calendar, the entire history of the universe smushed into one calendar year, humans only started existing on 11:59 on the very last day of the year.
And this is the Twilight Zone.
I wish I would have actually looked up articles and things, because I feel like there's a lot of actual stuff about this, especially given recent events. But something that I think is interesting is the overall mistrust that people have of experts in topics that they don't understand. So all of the scientists ever are saying global warming is a thing, but people still think that the scientists are lying. Another thing is mistrust of politicians. For some reason, people have decided that people who studied law and who are actual politicians are all corrupt and are unfit to run. And this whole idea that somebody who is outside the system needed to come in to fix it, just that is even a thing is crazy to me, because, obviously, if you look at it, Trump had no idea what being the president was about. He's never been a politician. He doesn't know how these things work. So I think it's interesting. And those are 2 examples. Just people who are, they're experts in these topics. There's a reason why they study these things and why they're the ones whose opinions that we're supposed to be considering. But for some reason, people have, a very large group of people have decided that we can't trust the experts in their fields. And are making choices by other means. And that's, I guess, mostly what I wanted to talk about. Why are people choosing to not listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about in those fields?
It's it's become popular to be the person that has a problem with authority, you know?
But it's
been
even
kind of cool.
But it's even I don't know. I guess you could, an expert is an authority in their topic or field, but it's just it blows my mind that, there are people who have studied science, they've studied physics, they've studied meteorology, they've studied geology, they've done this their entire lives. So if anybody should be able to tell us what's going on, it should be them, especially when an overwhelming amount of them are saying this is what's happening. Why don't we believe them?
I think we should always have a healthy dose of skepticism towards pretty much everything in our lives, but it gets ridiculous when you get to a point where you are tearing apart, like you said, people doing this, and not just one study, people who are cross comparing different studies and tests and stuff like that. And I remember anytime I've ever talked to a climate change denier, their excuse is usually something well, you don't really know. They could be paid under the table. They're all in some secret group. They're all you don't know where the federal money comes from for all these different government departments that they might be saying that. And it's are you kidding me? I'm sure there's probably slight biases in everybody when it comes to anything. But you can't tell me, you said, Amber, literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people educated in this, looking at and conducting their own experiments in this.
And cross studies and all kinds of things.
And all are in there's nothing in the world that you could get 99% or whatever it is of anybody to agree in. So the fact that you get 99% of scientists agreeing to this, that's a big deal, because some people still don't even believe that the Holocaust existed. You know, like.
And that's insane.
Yeah, so like when it comes to stuff like that, it's just like.
Because like I'm all for like questioning authority and stuff, and you want to make sure that what you're looking at is valid, but that doesn't just mean. Like I feel like people are confusing. I don't know, mistrust or caution or like healthy skepticism with just disagreeing.
Yeah.
And saying that whatever is common is wrong. And it blows my mind. And I guess, because I'm thinking about the politics side of it too, is that these people who thought that for some reason somebody who doesn't know anything about politics or policy would be able to fix things somehow when he doesn't know how the things even work. Mm-hmm. So, like...
I don't know. It just is interesting to me, like, they've talked about how he hasn't had all of his security briefings and things. Yeah, that really means he doesn't even care about how their system works. Like, he's just kind of like, all that, we're going to do it different now.
Right, and it's just, like, it blows my mind. Like, I feel like I understand wanting somebody who doesn't seem corrupt, which is why I like Bernie Sanders. But, like, somebody not being a politician doesn't mean that they're going to be a good as a politician, you know, like. Yeah.
But of all people to choose for as someone who's not corrupt, you choose the most corrupt businessman to be the least corrupt politician. You know what I mean? Like, who is it that's paying off all these politicians?
Well, you see the word thrown around a lot lately, this post-truth idea, that we are edging into a post-truth society. And that's scary because that stuff doesn't matter to people. You can tell them all you want that Donald Trump doesn't care about you, that he's a businessman, that he's conned people time and time again. You can tell them whatever you want, and it doesn't matter to that person. I feel like there was a brief moment in time where it felt like that stuff could be somewhat constructive. But at this point, you're supposed to not just doubt everything, but actively rebel against everything to the extent that nothing becomes real for you as long as whatever it is that you feel. And that's absolutely terrifying to me. And I hope this is only a temporary phase in history rather than like an inevitable decline of all truth forever. Because the internet's not going to go away. People who are unwilling to believe in science and facts.
That's the whole point of information.
Yeah.
What's the point of school if you don't want to learn?
But the other scary thing about the internet too is you can confirm literally anything you want to.
Yeah.
Like you can, like if you Google something, you don't usually have to look beyond the first page to confirm something that you want to believe if you put in the query the right way. And it's just like, I almost feel like that's part of the problem because.
It's very validating.
Yeah, and I feel like at one point, if you were uneducated, like you knew that you didn't have an education. Like it's not that you were worthless. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you less important. Necessarily, but you were like aware, like I'm not of an academic class, and now I almost feel like people aren't aware of what they don't know anymore, and that's really scary because if you think that you can become an expert on like earth science by Googling like global warming hoax or something, like that's not how that works. Like you can maybe scratch the surface of the findings of studies, but you can't it just blows my mind.
Can't allow the whole world to live in ignorance.
Right, and it's so weird because the internet is supposed to be like this gold mine of information, but I feel like of all the things that have led to this, you know, if the post-truth thing, it's been the internet. Like
it's because it's gotten so big. Like you said, any query that anyone wants to come up with can be confirmed by their own viewpoint. When the internet first started out, it was a smaller group of people, to the extent that like you found communities and stuff, but you didn't have like millions of people just wanting to confirm your world, you know. And I think because there were less ways to divide up people on the internet, more people got exposed to different things. Just like I think TV is in a very similar sense. You know, like back when there were 4 channels or whatever, everyone watched the same shows and everyone got a little bit of everything because those were the only options. And now we have a quadrillion TV channels and internet channels, and with music as well. I think people sometimes get into a bubble where like, and all this stuff is neither good or bad necessarily. Yeah, I'm just saying we have more options than ever for anything we can, any personal choice we want to make. There's a little bubble, perfect fit for us. Right. And it's only getting to be more and more that way, and I can't see it going back to this big one collection of stuff where people are necessarily exposed.
And I don't think that would be good either, because we always talk about how the media controls what we see, and if you're only able to be exposed to like one or a few sources of media, like I saw this thing that showed the breakdown of the different media things and what's more reliable, what leans left, what leans more right.
I think I have that saved on my phone.
Yeah, I have it too. And
I saw a couple.
Think about if there were only 4 of those up there.
Right.
It probably wouldn't be the 4 that are smack in the middle.
That's probably true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like maybe something that is part of the problem is just the lack of common ground.
Yeah.
Like, is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, mine wasn't quite like that.
Yeah. Because this is put the axes are left and right politically, and then insane and bombastic, and then the other side is reasonable and restrained. So
yeah, here's the one I had.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I saw both of those, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe it is just this lack of common ground then. And I feel like a lot. I think that where this should be remedied, honestly, is in education. Because everybody has to go to school. I feel like education should be where things are leveled. Like, I feel like that should be... Like, every time I go through this in my head, like a problem like this, like just about any problem, about systems or about people or about what's wrong, it always comes back to education. Because education is supposed to be where people get their basis.
Yeah,
and they aren't.
People should get one... First of all, everything in school should be about the facts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about your opinion. When you're starting out, things should be about the facts of the situation. You want to tell history, you should tell all of the history, and you should tell what happened and what they felt, or what the people during that time felt about it, and let the students decide what they feel about it.
And that can be tricky.
Oftentimes, what happens is they don't teach you that way. They try to tell you what you should feel about it.
They very much tell you what you're supposed to feel.
Well, it's also tricky because history is usually written in the eyes of the victors.
But we have so much information now.
That's true.
Like, we have so many scholars and so many books that take on the opposing viewpoint, or even they try and be non-biased and they just present you with what happened, and even that is so wildly different from what you get taught in school.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, good stuff. That was a great topic.
I like that.
We should have a whole post-truth episode where we just spout nonsense.
Where we just cry for 30 minutes. Probably. That sounds fun. I agree.
Speaking of truth, here's the truth about this week's episode's sponsor.
Oh, that was a rocky road.
This week's sponsor is a little business known as Advanced Auto Parts. Advanced Auto Parts Inc., the largest automotive aftermarket parts provider in North America, serves both the professional installer and the do-it-yourself customers. They have over 5,200 stores, so no excuses about not getting to one. Including the United States, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Canada.
Our Virgin Islands listeners.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out to all the Virgin Island listeners. So if you want to save 20% off your first order at Advanced Auto Parts, you can go to www.advancedautooffer.com/canyouNot. And like I said, that's 20% off anything you want to get. Oh, hi, Shelby.
Hi, Shelby.
And you know they're good because for 75 years, Advanced Auto Parts has helped a nation of do-it-yourselfers fix their vehicles. Don't you want to be
vehicles?
Yes, your vehicles.
You said vehicles.
Vehicles. Don't you want to be a do-it-yourselfer?
So, how close was the birth of Advanced Auto Parts to the signing of the Declaration of Independence? To the signing of the Declaration of Independence versus Snapchat.
Maybe we should all take a do-it-yourselfie so that we can be do-it-yourselfers.
Oh, what did you just say?
I officially retire.
I just vomited in my mouth. Oh my god.
Jesse. Literally retired.
So once again, if you want to be a do-it-yourselfer, you can go to advanceautooffer.com/can you not.
I want to talk about something that we've talked about a lot.
Ugh.
But it's something that I know nothing about.
My private life?
No.
Okay.
I feel like Brian knows a lot about your private life.
That's what's crazy. I want to talk about common misconceptions of vegans and vegetarians.
Oh.
You mean that they're all super cool?
Yep. That one. Right there.
That's a misconception.
Yeah.
That's wrong. You're
Yeah. If only it were true.
Which ones bother you guys the most?
I'm a vegan.
I know. Which
Yeah.
one?
What vegan stereoteps bother you?
Oh, I thought you meant whether vegans or vegetarians bother me the most. It's like neither of that. Well, vegans can be annoying.
So what's annoying about vegans?
Some people are just. I'm a multifaceted person.
Mm-hmm.
I am vegan, but I am many other things, and there are people who are only vegan. And I am more than that. And the people who are only vegan, while I think the cause is just, need to get a hobby. But misconceptions that annoy me. Okay, I don't know about misconceptions, but things that irritate the shit out of me are the people who are like, oh, you're vegan? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't kill things, and I don't want to support the killing of things. And they're like, but plants are alive. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, and you're still eating pigs, so leave me alone. Once you can progress to where I am, then we can maybe have this conversation. It could be cool. But, people find every hole they can in your ethical thought process without paying any attention to all the problems that they're causing themselves. You know what I mean? You're lecturing me about something that you have no interest in and that you don't even try on. You know what I mean? So that is what irritates me.
They're looking to refute yourself without giving an argument on their side of things, right?
Yeah, well, it's this idea. It's well, plants are alive. It's okay, but pigs are alive, and we can agree that pigs are alive, and you're still eating pigs, so why are you lecturing me about plants? Right. You know what I mean? It just drives me crazy. And, it just drives me crazy. I don't know. This is the main one. Are you still a vegetarian?
Yeah, I'm still a vegetarian. Actually, Amber was one of my main influences to become a vegetarian in the first place.
Holla.
Yeah. So I've been a vegetarian for 2.5 years now.
And then I inspire everybody by baking for them at Christmas, and it's super tasty.
Oh my god!
Everything I make is vegan and is super yummy. It's vegan.
Oh, Brian got tricked.
You didn't even trick me. I'm happier.
Yeah, no, it's all vegan. So,
bruh.
I would say the biggest.
When I tell you that these are some of the best brownies I've ever had, I ate one before we started recording. Oh my god. I didn't even know until just now.
Yeah, dude, it's great. You
oh
just
my
gotta know
god.
what to do.
I would say one of my least favorite ones to hear all the time is, what do you even eat? I'm like, I bet if you really looked at the things that you eat, there's probably not as much meat in your diet as you think there is,
Yeah, I feel me personally, whenever it's brought up, I always feel like meat is all I eat. You know what I mean? Every time I think about not eating meat, I'm like, well, that's all I eat. So even though I know carbs is probably 95% of what I eat, first of all. Yeah. And I know Jesse raves about his rice, and so does Amber. So.
Yeah. And I'm not even I'm not even 100% vegan. I'm 25% vegan. So I still eat cheese every now and then. I still eat stuff that has milk in it, even if I don't drink milk explicitly. So there's still lots of things I eat that they eat too, cheese pizza or something like that if it's there, So yeah, I don't know. It's that's always kind of a fun one.
And the other thing too is just it's not, you have to go about it correctly. So I have lots of problems with PETA. PETA is the organization. They're awful.
And also Katniss's boyfriend.
Okay, Joe.
What the heck?
I'm upset.
Oh.
Because the problem is that you get all these people screaming about animal welfare and go vegan, but they don't really tell you how. They don't give you good options for like what you're actually supposed to do and stuff. So like, it's not about cutting stuff out. It's about adding things in. So that way, you know, you're replacing things in essence. You're not knocking them out first. You're incorporating something else in your diet, and then once you have this like larger span of options, then you decide for yourself, okay, I'm going to choose this new thing instead of that other thing that I had been eating, which in this case I'm obviously talking about meat or cheese or like anything. But you do what you can. I say that to people a lot. People apologize to me because they're not vegan or vegetarian, and it's you do what you can. So if you can choose to have a meal in a day that doesn't have meat in it, that's something. You just did something. If you're interested in animal welfare, that is a thing. You didn't support factory farming for that meal, and that's really cool. Or if you can have a vegan meal, then you know it just grows. So you do what you can, and you work with what you feel, you know.
I do think the stigma of vegans and vegetarians being supremely unhealthy is starting to fade a little bit, because you see a lot of notable celebrities who are
athletes
and athletes now too,
there are some like huge NFL linemen that are vegan,
right?
And I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
A lot of them. Let's see.
Oh wait, I meant to type in famous vegetarians and I typed in famous vegetables.
Bob the tomato.
Russell Brand, Ellen DeGeneres.
Russell Brand is crazy.
My boy Paul Bay Cartney, which is actually interesting because his wife actually helped normalize vegetarian dining back in the 80s when it was like a huge no-no. Like she started her own line of vegetarian like
Venus Williams
like
is
oh yeah, Venus Williams, Ozzy Osbourne, Natalie Portman, Prince was
the person
Mike Tyson is vegetarian.
That's true. Walter Killer Kowalski being a fellow Kowalski. Mr. Rogers was a vegetarian.
See, look, Ricky Williams.
All these big dudes. Yeah, I mean, they're like, I don't know. It's just it's like anything else. Like with dieting, like you're used to this one thing, but if you want, you can replace. Like there are multiple sources for lots of different things. I don't know.
Bill Clinton says becoming a vegan saved his life.
Oh, I don't know about that. Because the other thing too is like people try to come at you with other health things. Like the link between cholesterol and heart disease is not as completely solid as everybody thinks it is. Like fixing your cholesterol and only fixing your cholesterol and not worrying about any other aspect of your life won't necessarily save you from heart disease. It's like people come at you with like stuff like that. And it's like, but I'm not doing this for health. I don't know.
Well, here's what he says. He says he committed to a mostly vegan diet back in 2010 after undergoing emergency heart surgery. He says, I take blood tests often. He would be entirely vegan, but his doctor asked him to eat organic salmon once a week. Interesting.
Oh, probably for the fish oil.
It does say research shows those who eat mostly vegetarian have a decreased risk for heart disease.
But that's not just worrying about cholesterol.
And some cancer.
One thing
that's
I can say
bigger change than just
for all of
cholesterol.
you tofu haters, depending on the tofu, it's really not that bad.
If you get it made right, it can be very, very good.
It's really
actually,
not that bad.
When I was in Boston with my roommate, we stopped at a place and we got this like tofu-based frozen yogurt thing. Oh my god, it was amazing. But I don't know. It's just and the other thing too is you can't like if you're eating a veggie burger, you can't pretend like you're eating a burger and then expect to feel good about it because it's not gonna taste like a burger.
You have
like
to go
I don't
with
care.
Your expectations.
Yeah, like a veggie burger is gonna taste like a veggie burger, and like something that's called like tofu hot wings, it's not gonna taste like chicken. It's gonna taste like hot wings and like the spicy stuff, and then also kind of like tofu because it's made out of tofu. Pro tip. But I don't know. I like it. I think it's pretty cool, and it's also helped me to be a lot more creative as far as cooking. And my horizons have actually expanded as far as what I eat and what I cook in my kitchen.
I'm much more aware of what I eat since I became a vegetarian, I think.
And they're like I know a person who's a vegetarian, and he's been a vegetarian for his whole life, but right now the reason he sticks with it has a lot to do with the environmental things. I'm more ethically based as far as like actual living things.
So you haven't always been a vegetarian?
No. I became a vegetarian sometime in like 2011, like my junior year of high school, and I became a vegan like fully vegan. I've kind of been moving towards it for a while, but fully vegan with 2 exceptions. Like 6 months ago or so. But I still eat the eggs that my uncle gives me because I've seen the chickens and they're happy and like nothing's wrong. Like they're fine. And I eat honey because I think it's weird to not eat honey. So like that's the way I do vegan.
My cousin's girlfriend's been vegan for about 10 years now.
That's
It's been
good.
working
Good
out
for
pretty
her.
well. Did you know that Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, was vegetarian?
Right.
And that must have been very difficult back in the early 1800s. They would have
You
been
think?
pretty judgy, I bet.
I don't know. Hooray.
That says Thomas Alva Edison, our friend and fellow vegetarian.
He was vegetarian?
Yeah, he was vegetarian.
Dope.
Although he was kind of an arsehole.
Yep.
I wouldn't know. Seeing how he went to school right up the street.
Yeah. I would often go over there and hang out with him. He would show me all these wacky inventions. I'd be like, that's not going to go anywhere. Look where he is now.
Huh?
Yeah. Look at this. Now we're in a room full of lights.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't
He
that crazy?
invented lots of
Including that
things,
little
too.
red one there.
Like his laboratories did a whole lot of stuff. He invented, I think it was Thomas Edison stuff started out with, invented vacuum diodes.
Mm-hmm.
Diodes and transistors are really, really important for like everything we use. So that's
true.
pretty cool. But I don't think he actually invented it because he just had a bunch of people in his laboratory working, and then he took the credit. So he was an entrepreneur. He wasn't a scientist.
He also invented me. He is my father.
No comment.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, let that one go.
Jesse is asleep.
What did we learn today, friends? Oh, I went first. I learned that the 10th president of the United States still has 2 grandkids alive that Brian and I are going to make a documentary about.
I learned that I still pretty much hate everybody.
Oh, I learned a lot of stuff about Amber's vegan life.
And you also learned that vegan baking is on
It's
point.
pretty dope.
What
was good.
What do you think, Brian? Are you going to do a 1 day a week vegetarian lifestyle?
I think I could do 1 day.
There you go.
You could start
I
with
think
that.
I
That'd be
might.
cool.
Why? My mom did this kind of thing where she was like, on Mondays we won't eat meat, but I would always sneak to Wendy's and get a crispy chicken sandwich
That's how I was on Lent.
across the street.
That's
fish fry.
hilarious.
But that's because I was swimming and I just felt like I couldn't survive without protein once a
fair.
week because I had 2 practices and a swim meet every
Right.
Monday. So
Yeah,
Do you
well,
think-
if you want any ideas, I've been doing it for a while,
Yeah.
and I eat pretty consistently. So like, I have thoughts about foods and things.
Right.
So
Do you think you might do it and not sneak a Wendy's chicken sandwich?
I will. I'll give you once a week in January, and I will tell you how it goes.
You should do it on Mondays, so when we have time for the following podcast for you to give us an update.
And you can even, if like doing all day is too much, you can even start with just dinner. Like,
Mm.
because, you know, a lot of times for breakfast, you
There you
don't
go.
necessarily eat meat. Like, you can get sausage or bacon or something, but you can eat breakfast without eating meat. Like, that's not, like, you hash browns and a waffle, you know, like, that's a solid breakfast. So, like, if it's too much to do an entire day, you start with one meal.
I can
you know?
give you another misconception that I
Okay.
just thought about.
Yeah.
So, like, every time people say something about being vegan or vegetarian, I always feel like I have to cut sugar out. Sugar does not go with the meat.
No. Well, so actually, just
I
if
can
you're
still eat
interested, there are some vegans who don't eat straight up sugar because some sugar, and not all of it, but some sugar is filtered through bone char. That's what makes it white. It's like the bone char is like, it's carbon, so it's
Yeah.
like the water filters and stuff. It filters out the impurities and things, and some of that is made from like bone char. So
just
there
do
are
brown sugar.
no brown
This
sugar
is just
still goes
molasses
no
dye.
brown sugar still goes through the bone char.
Yeah.
But so there's some people who don't eat sugar, but again, there are lots of levels of this, and bone char is a byproduct. They wouldn't make bone char just to do this. You can find other sources of carbon much more easily if that wasn't already readily available. So I don't cut sugar out because I think that's dumb. So like, you know, there's a lot of things you can look into, but it's really just about, like, the way I do vegan would make a bunch of other vegans really, really angry probably. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you gotta figure out what you're going for and research it and stuff.
If you want to check out more episodes, you can go to soundcloud.com/CYN podcast. Email us your suggestions, feedback, topics, vegan recipes.
Dude, send me vegan recipes.
Can you not podcast@gmail.com. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter. What more could you possibly ask for? Stop being so demanding. We're also on iTunes. If you give us a rating, we'll read your review on the air. Yeah, that's right.
Out loud.
And you might want to check out next week's episode because it'll be our 50th episode ever.
We're getting old. Yeah. We're going to have a midlife crisis.
It's going to be a great episode.
It's going to be our Can You Not Awards of 2016. So we'll each have a pick for the most Can You Not
Donald Trump.
of the year. I was going to say, can we instantly disqualify him because
can we just
he would
do
so
a
clearly
fourth,
take it away?
Can we do a fourth one that is just him and we each pick someone else?
Wait, what?
Can we do like a fourth person? Like
Donald Trump. We can talk about Donald Trump, but that won't be the person.
So he'll be the instant runaway, but you gotta tune in. Let's hear our runner-ups.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that seems fair because there's nothing that's gonna top the Can You Not that is.
No. Yeah.
DJT. All right.
Why did he sound like a real like DJ? DJT.
Mr. President-elect, can you not?
Can you not?
Can you not? Can you not?